And then I was like, yeah, but that's why they call him Leggy. It's the funniest joke in the world. Oh, God, that's funny, man.
Oh, what was it? Sorry, I don't think I was recording. What was it?
Mate, people have been waiting so long to hear the Leggy joke again.
Just do it again.
Nah, it was in the moment thing, I think.
Yeah, just.
Sorry. Are you serious?
Sorry.
Hey guys, welcome to the Dan Does Footy podcast. You can find more of Dan Does Footy on the website, Spotify, YouTube, and social. Good job. See ya.
There was heaps of sick kids, and I was like, where are they? Kick him harder. Kick him all harder. Punch him in the face. I'm bloody horizontally challenged, if you get what I mean. Tough crowd today. The great man is on. Oleg Markov, mate, welcome to Dan Does Footy. Ollie, have you introduced yourself to our guest or not?
I have, but I was extremely intimidated with the facial hair. I had a moustache for the first 2 episodes, but given the response I've been getting about my look, I decided I'd trim it down. But now I feel silly.
Very good. It's very thick.
Yeah, it's good in the sense of everyone looks at you on the street. I tend to walk down, everyone just stares at you regardless. So I don't think anyone knows who I am, but people just go, what the hell is that?
Has it ever been that thick down the bottom? I feel like you've had it you've maintained it and trimmed it throughout, and now it's gone a bit.
Yeah, I've just tried the handlebar.
Yeah.
But I've been getting a bit carried away recently. I've been getting Becky to plait it. So that's been kind of cool.
Will you plait it for a game?
I will. It's a bit too short at the moment. So I can get maybe 2 plaits in each way, like on each side. But I want it to be dangling and I want them to touch at times. And I don't know.
That'd be cool.
I don't know.
I wish I could grow facial hair. I wish I could.
I can tell you can't.
I can't at all.
Yeah.
At all.
What do you mean? As in?
Like I cannot grow any facial hair.
What do you mean? Look at it.
Mate, I get the sideburns to about halfway to the cheek and then nothing into the fluff on the chin.
I would love to just see you commit for 3 months. Just for 3 months.
It'd be so red. It would be cooked.
Red?
Yeah.
Ginger.
Red ginger, real ginger.
Yeah.
Real ginger. You're probably wondering why Ollie is tied down to the chair. He, at the moment, has a stripper addiction, which we're trying to get out of him. He was seen at Kittens last week by one of the viewers, so we're just trying to get him out of this strange
I just need
addiction.
you to know, mate, that's not true. It's been a really big 10 days for me in my world. I've been given a whole new personality type that I didn't know existed.
Wow.
I'm too busy playing Hogwarts Legacy on PlayStation, but apparently I'm at the strippers.
You've been seen there, and you did say that you had a sandwich at the strippers once.
No, I had
midday.
Do they sell food?
If you're there having food at the strippers at midday, you're way too early.
Dan,
to be there.
I had nachos. I didn't have a sandwich, which
even
is
worse.
way
Do they
better.
give you a table number? Is that what
exactly.
Yeah.
A wait staff comes
You
out
get
to
the little
you.
buzzer. Yeah.
I know. Man, crazy one that we have you on because you're my favourite footy personality. As I was saying to you out there, I think you look like you're just loving footy at the moment and loving life probably. So thanks for coming on. I can't wait to have this chat with you. And congrats to you on a couple things.
Yep.
The big thing is you're pregnant.
Well, not me personally, but yeah.
But you're both pregnant.
Yeah, we're both
You did
pregnant.
your job, mate.
Yeah, I did my job that I'm aware of.
Well done for your job.
Yeah, and I think, without getting into the nitty gritty stuff, I think it was a bit of a European sort of summer love, and or it was actually transitioning into winter. So, but no, it's exciting. Look, I was very nervous initially, but I think that all turns to excitement pretty quickly, and it's a shame it's in there for so long. I mean, we're still, 20 more weeks. What's that?
So what's
Quick
that?
maths,
Ollie?
quick maths.
In what? In days?
5 months.
5 months. 5 months.
Still 5 months
Yeah.
away, which is, we've sort of announced it, and I just want it to be, like, I'm bored on my days off. Like I have to come in here and do a podcast with you on my day off.
That's where you're
that's
at.
how desperate I am. I'm really scraping them.
Exactly. No, we're glad to have you on, mate. I mean, we did have a hierarchy of the guests we wanted on, and I was saying to you, like, obviously you got your Nick Dacosses, you got your Quaynors, you got your Mason Coxes, you've got your Boot Boys, you got your Water Boys, you've got the fans, you've got the dogs that are members, and we've got you. And we're so happy to have you on, man.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
thank you for coming on.
I'm glad everyone else said no.
No. You are, as I said, you are my favourite. And you were saying that you played against the Tigers.
Yep.
A couple of days ago, and they were getting around you saying congrats as well.
Yeah. Everyone was. I was very honoured. Like throughout the game, everyone sort of congratulated me, said thank you, and that. And then out of nowhere, Grimes, he sort of jogs past and congratulates me, and then goes, "Well, who's the dad? Have you found him out?" And then just jogs off. And it kind of really rattled me because I had to sit with it for a bit, and I started to contemplate whether or not I was. I was like, I think I am. What does he know that I don't? Like, what
did I do my job correctly, or what am I missing here that Grimesy knows? Like, what did I do?
But anyway, we'll soon find out. So
you'll soon find out. Congrats, mate. Congrats on that, and then also congrats on a big last year.
Yeah, no,
you
it was
were
awesome.
Great, mate.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was again, it was easy for me. I come into an incredible environment. I just got to be myself, and I was constantly vulnerable all the time, and it's quite daunting being like that. But the best part is like all those boys just wrapped your arms around me, and I guess they just embraced my quirkiness and my difference, and kept promoting it. And it was just easy for me not to put a facade on or a mask on, and just got to go into work every day smiling, being happy, and they obviously knew how hard I'd work, so it wasn't like I was just there to take the piss. It was like, yep. He's working hard, but also he's bringing up the boys, bringing up the morale. So it's quite refreshing.
Because you are quite quirky, which I love, because I know I'm a bit weird. And I feel like you're cut from the same kind of cloth.
Yeah.
I love that the environment, they love you and they accept it, because it is quite hard, especially going to an AFL environment. And we'll go through where you were and going to Collingwood, but it'd be super hard to go to Collingwood with a big team and big personalities and be unsure if you can be yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think as well, like when you are a little bit different and you, like I enjoy being different. It's just fun, and I know it's the experience. It's a talking point. It's I think the key word is it is fun. So like I don't have to just be clean cut shave, vanilla. It's just like I can try and experiment with different things while I've actually got facial hair and hair. For now, until I start receding and that, I've got hair and it grows, so it will be back. So I can experiment with it.
Yeah.
I think the biggest fear going into new environments is how you'll be perceived by peers. I guess Collingwood as well is one of the biggest. Sorry, I'll reframe that. Is the biggest club in the Southern Hemisphere. Yeah. I'm gonna say it now.
I'll cut that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Trim that up.
Yeah, thanks, Ollie. He's very good.
Yeah.
And I just found that how will the fans respond, and that's obviously something you play. Like it's probably easy to be a bit quirkier in a club that's a bit smaller. Probably doesn't have as much publicity, but for the Magpie Army to embrace my difference and call me sort of one of their own is pretty cool and special. Awesome. So if anything, it promotes me to be my authentic self more and more. So it's easy for me to be who I am.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, and the Collingwood fans, they're a bit different as well. I mean, there's a few out there that you look at and you go, well, you guys, you're starting to scare me a little bit. So it makes it easy when everyone's a little bit quirky and weird. Do you, before we get into it, because I want to map out, like we did last week, I want to map out your journey, because it's, again, another story of just unbelievable. And to be a quick snapshot right now, it's bottom of the barrel stuff to top of the mountain in 12 months. And we'll lay it out and go through it. But before we do that, now being at Collingwood, do you feel this us against the world mentality or not? Because we hate you guys. I like you, but as a team, as a blue bagger and other teams, Saints,
2010,
we just don't. Yeah, we just don't like you. And when you win, it really annoys us. Do you feel that internally or not?
No, because I feel like we're so well connected and we love each other that we sort of let the hurricane outside be a hurricane and we don't let it affect us internally. But also, like, when I was at Gold Coast, everyone said we were everyone's second favourite team. But now we've been at Collingwood and having Fly there, I feel like Fly's almost changed the views of a lot of people that once were fence sitters, or I think Fly's honestly converted a lot of people to our side. So I'm forever blessed that Fly's the way he is. I don't think it's us against the world. I feel like we do get under a lot more scrutiny at times for certain things, and we get looked at probably with a hawk eye more than other clubs. But at the same time, I don't feel like it's us versus the world.
No.
Although there's some sort of banter going on with the Sydney clubs and that.
Yeah,
so
you've heard, have you?
Yeah, well, I'm borderline wanting to get rid of my Twitter because Twitter's honestly crazy now. My feed is ridiculous. But every now and then, out of the AI stuff that comes up, which you spend a few hours or a couple of minutes watching, to whatever else there is going on. There's small bits of football in there, and obviously the Sydney stuff.
Sydney have lost their minds up there. They really got an issue with you guys, both teams as well. I think Sydney said they have more fans.
Sydney said they had more fans, and then what did GWS say that
they hate them more than Sydney?
Sydney.
And then Collingwood just sitting there going like, okay,
sure.
You just stop poking the bear is what I'd say to those teams. Like you're really you're gonna piss these guys off, and they're gonna do something amazing again, which is actually gonna be bad for you.
You're so right though. You are by far the most likable Collingwood side in a long, long time.
You are, yeah. I found myself. Yeah, it's one of those ones where I don't like you, but I respect what you've done, and then therefore I found myself during games going, "Fuck, I hope they win this."
But the way Darcy speaks. The Dacos boys, it's just it's great.
Yeah,
so exciting to watch. Yeah,
it's a great club. So let's start. As I said, we'll go through this journey. Born in Belarus, the lungs of Europe. Well, do you know that?
Never knew that. I know I was born in Vitebsk, which was also, funnily enough, the city of churches.
Adelaide,
yeah, and we went to Adelaide after.
Meant to be.
But anyway, Wait, what is it called? The lungs of
Europe, because 40% of Belarus in that area is forest. So
and it was good agriculture before Chernobyl, which...
Well, that wouldn't have been great to breathe in.
Yeah.
No.
So, and arguably, I don't actually know... Ollie, when was Chernobyl? Was it 90...
I love that he's thrown
90.
To you.
I give off a real I know when Chernobyl vibe.
I feel like you...
1990.
You look like you're from Chernobyl, Ollie.
It's just glasses. It's not 4 eyes. 1986.
1986. So it was 10 years before I was born. Probably explains a bit.
Do you reckon some of the fumes have come over and now you've come out a bit
I think I'm radiating something.
Yes, you're a walking...
I'm like that glowing Mr. Burns in the forest.
That would explain a lot.
Yeah, you know what? Now that does kind of explain a lot. But look, all jokes aside, I mean, that's a natural mistake, whatever disaster you want to call it. But I guess my parents were Soviet. Soviet Union collapsed in 92. So they were all communist for a period there, and I think mum and dad wanted to get out of the 90s. Like the 90s were quite dark in Eastern Europe. Everyone was fighting for independence. No one knew who their right leader was. I'm actually not sure, but I think our prime minister or president of Belarus is still being the president. I think you're only allowed to do 2 terms, which is arguably 8 years.
Oh, he's on the way.
I think he's been in since 94.
So he's just running his own show.
I think he's just running his own show.
He has since 94.
Wow.
What's his name?
Lukashenko.
Alexander Lukashenko.
Yeah, Lukashenko.
Since 94.
Yeah.
How old is he?
69.
Oh,
that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Sorry, so he's born in 1954.
Don't try to make me slip up.
Oh, he's been in the strippers. That's why he said 69.
Yeah. Born in 1954.
1954. Okay. Well, and I've done my research, so I like to get research. But your dad said, Dimitri.
Oh. Has he had many interviews? Has he?
He's had a lot.
Has he?
Have you Googled your old man?
I have Googled it, but I haven't delved into... I can never find interviews of him.
I watched a lot of you, Dimitri, flying in the air.
Yeah, I've seen him flying in the air, slow motion and everything, but I haven't seen any interviews of him.
Well, he said about that move from the Soviet Union, it was a crazy time when the USSR fell apart. People were killing each other. There was a massive crime everywhere. And we'd been before to Australia and loved the country. When did they come out here before?
Dad arrived in Australia through competitions and
that's right.
And also just sussing out the facilities. I think there was SASI and WAIS, which is
Waste Bar.
Waste Bar. Waste. So yeah, he was contemplating the move because I think Dad as well was considering either Germany, America, or Australia. So those were the 3 countries with arguably what was the best facilities for athletics. So I could have been a German soccer player speaking Scheiße.
Yeah.
Nine. And also maybe the moustache might be different looking. Or I could be in America being like a,
What would you be in America?
a quarterback maybe.
No, you'd be a wide receiver for sure.
No, I'm a bit thin.
Like
You'd be a
player.
tight end.
Like a soccer player, maybe?
No. Yeah, maybe. I
You
don't know.
play field hockey because you're quick.
Or actually, ice hockey would be nice.
Do you reckon you got that in you?
Probably not. I'd be more like I said this not long ago. A really cool job for me post footy would be like being like a jester. So like you go into footy clubs, and I think you'd be good at it too. But
Thank
like
you.
a few losses in a row for a club, morale's down. People don't know whether they're allowed to laugh or not. We roll in and we're just an external. Like we don't know the X and O's, but we just get in there, make the boys smile, laugh, hopefully just boost them up a bit.
I think that's a business opportunity for us. When you're done, let's start being the jesters and we just roll on contract.
Yeah.
And just roll in. You boys have lost 4 in a row. Let's just start juggling some balls in front of
Yeah,
them.
can I confirm you don't mean not a comedian, not like a Hughesy style. You actually mean court jester.
Some cartwheels and stuff.
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of vibe.
yeah.
Hula
And,
hoops.
and we
Excellent.
join in training because what's funnier than average Joe's getting smacked around as well?
Yeah, that is funny, actually. You are right. That is funny. Like when they at footy clubs, sometimes they let the corporates train.
No,
It's
do
so
they really?
funny, man.
I feel
It's
like
so funny.
that's an old school thing. I feel like
They
that's
don't do it anymore. No
I feel
corporates
like
coming
we've
down.
done that before, maybe at Richmond, but that's not a thing anymore.
So I can't believe it's not a thing. Normally, what they do is maybe twice a year max. They'd let the corporates come and do the first 2 drills of training, like main training sessions, and these blokes would be horrendous. All these big guys who are normally in suits, now in full playing kits that's so tight, and they're in like lane kicking. You're like, what the fuck is happening? Just they don't do it anymore.
Nah. Well, I mean, and I know we're going a bit off topic
No,
here,
let's
but
go
I'd
off topic.
actually I'd love for the Olympics to have like an average Joe just plucked from the grandstand just to compare. So like, because you know when you see the 100 meters and you all just see them go shoom when they all finish, and you go, oh yeah, that was cool, and you've got your winner. But like,
I think
you're
could.
hoping for a close race. I'd love to see you go shoom, and then like 4 seconds later, there's just someone just like running, just so that you can compare how amazing these athletes are.
Yeah.
But every sport, like a javelin thrower.
And then someone else comes out and tries the same thing. That'd
And
be
also,
cool.
While I said javelin, sorry, I'm rambling
No,
on
mate,
here.
you go where you want.
Yeah,
Drive,
you know
you drive.
what? I'm the guest here.
Yeah, you are.
I'll drive this conversation.
Go.
Javelin, I reckon there should be another javelin version where it's like a duo, but one person's catching it, the javelin. So your meters only count when you
Now we're
catch
talking.
it.
And you got to catch it between the eyes.
Like,
Like a footy. Hands out in front, and you try and catch it there, and it's just all or nothing if it comes through. That'd be cool. Yeah,
It'd be a spectacle.
I mean, I love that idea. I kind of was talking to someone yesterday about I want to get in the ring with Volk.
Oh,
So I just think
how
I've
long
got,
would you last?
I reckon I've got 2 minutes in me.
2?
Yeah.
I reckon I would last 10 seconds. I reckon you would last 17.
You know
And
what-
it would be you sheerly sprinting
That was
on
my
the
tactic,
outside.
to just run around the outside, but then do one of those moves where you run on the fence and then come down and just knock him out.
You just do one of those. You
Yeah.
just do,
It looks good in
Just go and
movies.
do one of those, yeah.
I think a good indication of how good of a fighter someone is how good they're on the pads and the boxing gloves at the club. How do you go?
yeah.
You think you'd strike me as someone who's good on the gloves?
I wasn't bad. The guys that were really good were like Ty Vickery was a really good boxer. He was like
he?
scary boxing, like as in
thrower.
like and Dustin's just got this like he has this wide stance and he's just like really cool, all tatted up, and he's just like
Yeah,
and he
that
just
look
jab you
cool.
from a mile away, and he just like
That would look cool.
yeah, and then I think everyone was a bit too scared to hit him anyway. But
Yeah. You don't throw them anymore?
No, I actually did Muay Thai for a bit, and then I broke
Wow.
my collarbone when I was 16, or 17. So I love fighting, and I love hitting pads and that.
Yeah.
But
You strike me as I'm more of a street fighter.
yeah, I'd end up biting and doing other stuff.
Oh,
I reckon.
dirty?
Yeah, I'll be quite dirty because I'll get real
Yeah.
angry.
Yeah. I just feel like sometimes if I was to react to someone on the street, it literally is 2 lethal weapons I got here on me. So I would feel bad for what was coming that person's way.
Do you have
You
names?
talk about your fists.
Yeah. Sorry, my fists are up, everyone. Yeah, they're the lethal weapons. Yeah, they're the fists.
Oh god.
So, yeah. And also, just speaking of Olympic Games, I think we should, you know how they're doing the new games that are the enhanced games?
Yeah, I have heard about it. That's a great idea.
Do an AFL version.
Oh god. Do we have enough athletes?
You'd find them if you said, let's just get 2 teams of enhanced and just let them go.
Wow.
How do you reckon that would play out? They'd be strong and quick.
Are they former?
No. Sorry, not former. Just anyone.
Yeah.
You can train for 12 months.
Yeah, right. Okay, right. Yeah.
And then they're like, just go for it.
Ethically, that wouldn't be good.
Ethically, no. But if just say in some
it would be
other
a great
world,
spectacle. Yeah.
Yeah, in some other world where the AFL greenlights it.
I mean, if they're doing it for the Olympics,
I reckon the first 5 minutes will be carnage.
It would.
And then I reckon everyone would gas out.
Yeah.
And I reckon everyone will be huge. It would be quite contested, I reckon.
Yeah, it would be big. It's just something to see, you know. I want to go back to your dad in his pole vault career because, as I said, I saw him just flying around everywhere on YouTube last night, and he was amazing. 96 competes Olympics 6th.
Yep. Atlanta.
He also goes to Sydney. Goes to the Sydney Olympics 5th.
Athens.
2001. Athens. Thank you. 2001 wins the World Championship. Canada.
Edmonton.
Is that Canada?
Yep.
Thank you. 2004 Athens.
Yeah.
Olympics.
Yeah.
Doesn't place at all.
Not that I'm aware of.
No. Okay. Ollie can do something with that edit to make sure.
yeah.
And competes in the Com Games in 2006. Comes second. Silver, yeah. And then retires with a foot injury in 2007.
Yeah.
What an athlete. Big man he was as well.
A thick man. Like he's 182.
But built.
At his prime, he was like thick neck and like built like he's very compact. But he's given me the genes of no calves and no forearms. So he's quite like huge biceps, thick legs, but like no calf, no forearm.
So you didn't get that?
I didn't get
you missed it.
I missed that. Oh, actually, I got that boat. Yeah. I got the small forearms.
You do.
Little calves.
You also got lots of tattoos. When did that start? When did that obsession? Because you went clean skin to Richmond, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then you just thought, because I've got tats, so I've got so much ink, man.
Yeah,
I'm like you.
I was lucky enough. My how many have you got? You got one.
4.
Yeah, cool.
Whatever.
Oh wow.
That's
that's
lid's
tough.
off. It's
that
one needs to come off. And I got Stewie Jew on the bum as well.
I do remember that. Yeah.
But
that was
you,
good fun. Well, I was quite fortunate. My first game, my jumper presentation was given to me by Jake King, the push-up.
Push-up.
Yeah. So, and he was always like, slapped it up with me, introduced himself to my family, said, if you guys need anything, let me know. And and then for every day off for the next year, I was just going to his tattoo shop at City of Ink, which no longer exists anymore. But yeah, I wouldn't even be booked in. I just had nothing to do in my spare time and I was withering away. I was not studying. I deferred from uni. I just wanted to play footy and
get some ink.
Yeah, get some ink. So I was just rolling in, doing riddles, keeping everyone. I was honestly the jester of that place for a bit. And then tattoo artists would be like, "Oh, we had a cancellation. Do you want to hop on?" Yep. What do you want? I don't know.
Pick something.
Yeah, we just Googled things, looked up things in books, and said, "Yep, can we do this?"
And just started filling yourself out.
Just filled myself out over probably 2 years, but I haven't had a tattoo since just before COVID. And then during COVID, we bought 2 tattoo guns, which got some ridiculous home jobs on my butt cheeks and that. So,
How good. You got tats, Ollie?
No, too scared.
Clean canvas.
I'd quite like one, but I've walked in a few times and there's just something about. It's almost like going in for surgery. Like it feels so clean and bright.
Yeah.
And you can hear the noise in the other room.
Oh.
And it's just like, nah.
There's nothing better than a needle just entering your skin over and over again for like 6 hours. I love it. It's so sick. When they got the Stewie Jew one, I was like, just keep going. That's awesome. And it looked like him as well, which is good. So it was exactly like him. You and I have something in common. Grew up in Adelaide.
Yes.
So much respect for you because I love Adelaide, don't get me wrong, but not a lot to do there.
No, yeah, it's the fishbowl analogy. Yeah.
And you grew up in Jeps Cross?
Jeps Cross, yeah. How'd you
Rams.
know that? The Rams,
The Rams.
Who'd you play for?
Tea Tree Gully at the Bulls.
Tea Tree Gully is are the Gulls. Essendon colours? Tea Tree Gully.
They are, yep. Tea Tree Gully. Pertaringo Oval.
Yes.
We used to play you guys.
Jack Graham.
Jack Graham's from the Gullies.
Yeah.
He is. Who else? Ryan Schoenmaker's from the Gullies. Luke Brown played at the Gullies.
Oh, wow. You've got a few. Because then your rivals was Golden Grove.
We hated
Kookaburras.
those assholes.
And that's Shane Edwards' territory.
Yeah, we hated those guys. But we also played you guys, and they were always good games because we used to go out to your ground near that prison.
Yeah, Yatla.
Yatla. I think I remember my uncle. Yeah.
I remember we'd always have pre-season there for North Adelaide. The Mighty
Yatla.
Roosters, at Yatla, because there's 2 ovals there, so league would be at the bottom, reserves would be at the top, and to straighten up a few of the kids who were 16, 18 training with the reserves, the coaches would pull you aside and be like, hey, stay in school, don't do drugs, or you'll end up there.
In there, yeah.
And the worst part is like that prison is like there's a prison, there's 2 footy ovals, and then there's like a random pub there. Have you noticed that pub?
I have, yeah.
Bizarre why and how there's a pub just there, which I don't get how they get customers. But 2, it used to always smell amazing. And when we were training on the reserves, you'd be running laps going, oh, chicken,
Prison.
schnitzels, yeah.
Yeah, true. I think the restaurant and the pub there would be very much the families coming through after they see like their convicted murderers.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they'd be going and pop in and be like, oh, he's doing 25 to 30. Let's go have a snitty to forget about it.
Yeah, extra salt on the chips.
Yeah. And I think I remember I saw my uncle play footy there once.
At Yatla?
At Yatla. And I'm not remembering this right, but I think there was a prison team.
You're thinking of the longest yard.
Were they allowed to wear the prison bars?
And like apparently one of them had like cheeseburgers in his pants and stuff. And they like came out of nowhere and won. Like it was really weird. They had like this really old legend of the game. I think it was like Rashuda or something, and he led him to a win.
Oh,
no,
man.
but there's not a lot to do in Adelaide. Like, I went through the Sparkler Bomb phase in Adelaide.
Yeah, the Sparkle Bomb phase was great.
Yeah, you remember Sparkle
In
Bombs?
the tennis ball?
Dude,
We did cans.
Yeah.
Like a Coke
Yeah,
can.
right, okay.
And you show, I reckon we used to do like, we used to have like terminologies and we used to do like call them the 125 sparkler and the 250 sparkler. And you're probably wondering, what does that mean? It's just the amount of sparklers that were in there. So there wasn't
like
any
an
like,
engine,
yeah.
a 125cc, a 250cc.
V6, the V8.
Or someone get the V8 Sparkle Bomb. Fuck, that was
Yeah.
so fun.
And that was a phase in Adelaide specifically, not
Yeah.
just your age group at the time.
we
It was
also
a
had like,
massive phase.
we had like chlorine bombs. You ever heard of that?
That sounds sick.
Yeah, that was I don't actually know the concept, and I don't want to be. We
can do what you want.
Yeah, I just don't want to get done for like conspiracy of terrorism or something. Here.
Oh, no, trust me. We've gone past that line in a couple episodes already.
Yeah, true. But yeah, my mates for like Halloween and stuff, and they'd get like either like a little milk carton thing. You put like chlorine rocks in there, and then like milk or something. And there was some other ingredient you might put in there, like biker. I don't know what it was, but it was like chlorine
Dynamite.
rock. Yeah, but like you shake it up and you close the lid, and then you used to throw it in wheelie bins, and you'd run like away, and you like lay on the grass across the road, and they'll just explode, like as in like not a massive explosion, but enough to pop the lid open and then like shatter wheelie bins, which. You can imagine someone's just taking out their trash. They come back and their wheelie bins are just like cut open. Like it's useless.
But at the time-
they're things that you did as kids.
You do. And at the time, as like a 10, 11, 12-year-old, geez, that's just peak of your life, isn't it?
It is,
We just
especially in Adelaide.
blew that bloke's bin up. It was sick. We also played Murder in the Dark. That was a phase. You played Murder in the Dark?
At Yatla?
No.
Yeah, I did.
Stakes are high.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's a different memory. But no, we played Murder in the Dark a
survived that
lot.
one.
And I don't know why, but my big memory of Murder in the Dark was we used to play at my friend Johnny's house, about 6 of us. And the game is there's 5 in a room. Yeah. There's one person waiting outside while the 5 hide in the room.
Yeah.
Lights off, obviously. It's in the dark. And then the guy on the outside counts to 30, then comes in. And our rule was like, it's just mayhem. If you see him, you can line him up. But if he tackles you to the ground, you're out, and then you're the murderer that's coming back in the dark. So that's how the game was played. Anyway, one of our mates went outside to be the murderer. He's gone to take a piss because he's got 30 seconds. And Johnny's dad was deaf. So Johnny's dad's walked in the door. And one of our mates, Matt, has just smoked the fuck out of Johnny's dad. All the lights on Johnny's dad's on the floor.
Is Johnny's dad still with us today?
I think so. He can't hear anything, but God, it was funny.
I've never felt more like I grew up in a different state than after just listening to this story.
Adelaide was sick.
Yeah.
It was so good. And you did athletics till year 10.
I did. I did a bit of high jump, bit of long jump. I enjoyed it. It was different. I did it more so as well because Dad was like, all right, do you want to be a footballer? I was like, yeah, I'd love to be. He's like, all right, we'll get you into the gym because never done heavy weights. I still probably don't do heavy weights, but he was like, let's get a baseline of where you're competing at, and we'll just very similar things. Like we need to teach you how to run. It sounds ridiculous, but the right technique. in the gym, we can work on your leg power, so we can judge your explosiveness. We'll do like a 60-meter dash or 100-meter dash and record it. And it was like a bit of a benchmark of before and after a whole summer. So it was like through preseason, I was doing not only North Adelaide training, I was also doing athletics on the side. And that when season came around, it got a bit too hectic eventually. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that side of things. It was cool to be able to perform and be the only one to blame, if you know what I mean. Like, I guess in a team, you're always sort of like working together for a common goal, and I find the success incredible in a team. But there's something that also, when you do lose in an individual sport, you kind of know, oh, I need to fix this. Like, I need to reflect. And it's a lot easier for you to know what's wrong, because I find that sometimes when you're in this snowball of footy clubs and you might not win for a few weeks, it's almost like there's a leak somewhere, but you just don't really know how to fix it properly. There's a lot more variables. So, but yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. High jump, long jump, 205. I competed against not Mitchell Stark. He's a cricketer. Brandon Stark in my last competition. And arguably
from Game of Thrones.
Oh no! Yeah, you're right. I did say that, didn't I? Starkey. Yeah. No.
Stark.
You're right, Brandon Stark, Aussie high jumper.
Oh, he is.
Yep.
Who's the guy? Okay, sorry. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
You're thinking of John Stark.
Jon Snow.
Jon Snow.
Where the hell did you get there?
Yeah. Who's Starkey? Oh, you're thinking of Iron Man.
Iron Man. My bad. Sorry, I ruined the story. 205.
Yeah, so 205, but I think I cleared 210 on the day, but as I went to get up and celebrate, the bar fell. So I'm technically taking 210.
That's jumping over me.
Yeah, but not quite Mason Cox, so.
He's very tall.
Yeah.
But still, you're clearing me as standing as straight as I can.
That was
That's
when I
massive.
was 16, 17, yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I chose football after that, and I'm pretty fortunate that I chose that.
Why footy? I mean, at what point were you like, this isn't jumping over 2 meter humans or thereabouts isn't for me. I want to focus on footy. Because I made the switch from soccer to footy.
Yeah.
And I didn't really have I can't explain it, so you might not be able to explain it either. But I decided football's the thing that I want to do.
Yeah, I think when you're juggling at the age of 16, it gets pretty tough. Like, two competitive sports, there's so many people now or kids now that are good cricketers and footballers and have to make a decision. It was just the time consuming bit, and my body was changing. Whether it was, to be honest, I didn't hit puberty till I was about 22. So I'm probably still going through it.
I
at the
haven't
moment.
hit it yet, man. I'm waiting.
Yeah. But I guess the body shapes between a high jumper and a footballer were completely different. So then my training had to change, and my dad sort of made the sort of the executive decision as a good father should, and he goes, look, let's pick one, but let's go helter-skelter towards it. And I just thought football, I had more joy out of it, and I was going through the North Adelaide system, and I found people were admiring my athletic traits and abilities, like the speed. I was the same height I was now when I was 16. I was just really thin. So I was a meter. I had a growth spurt in year 11, I think, and I was a meter 88, but I was 65 kilos, if you know what I mean. And but everyone was intrigued by the endurance, the speed, and I was always sort of never really performed well. But I think those exciting attributes kept me in state sides, allowed me to play reserves football, because I never starred. I never accumulated the football much. I'd pop in and out of games as you do. But yeah, like I was never a really big football person, but people were just intrigued by the attributes.
Yeah. I want to talk about this run-in you had with the State 16s coach, because I think what you just said then would have flicked a switch in you. You go, I remember when I was probably 16, we had a run in with a state coach. He told us I wasn't competitive, I wasn't strong enough, and I needed to get stronger. And from that point on, Dad said, if you want to come and train with me during the preseason, we'll go down to Port Adelaide Athletics Club. You got the whole gym for 24 hours and did running outside. You were there every night. Yeah.
Which in Adelaide, it's the place that you should only travel 15 minutes to and from everywhere. So going to Port Adelaide was a big drive. And I know I only had to go down Grand Junction Road the whole way. But every night Dad and I were there, and I was 16 years old, and I remember at times I'd be like, I don't really want to do this. I don't. And like Dad just had this work ethic of like, let's get this stuff done. You'll feel better after. But also like he was also a really good people manager. Like he could tell when I was about to crack at times as well, and he wouldn't push me beyond the point of not enjoying it. It was always about enjoyment and stuff. But yeah, like that athletics track, I spent hours running around it, going inside, doing plyometrics, doing jump training, and come back out. And it was probably my first taste of being an athlete. And the one thing I'm looking forward to is being able to show my kids how hard I work. Yeah. Because that was something that I did see my old man do, and it probably put a lot of things in perspective. And I guess when you start transitioning into the age of 16, 17, I remember going, geez, Dad used to train in the mornings in the gym, go out on the clay runway, have lunch, have a nap, then go and train in the gym again in the afternoon. I'm like,
crazy.
He was a lunatic to go do 2-3 gym sessions a day. Like, and that was just what he did.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, it's a good trait to have. You'd rather that than the opposite of just trying to get through on talent. But I think it's just hard though as a kid when someone your parents would never tell you, hopefully, but when another coach or person tells you you're not good enough yet, that's a kick in the guts, especially as a 16-year-old when you're trying to get some confidence. And I remember at 16 as well, a coach saying that you won't play AFL and list off these reasons. And I was like, well, who is this guy who he's big, can't even see his foot when he's kicking the footy, telling me that I'm not competitive and I might be able to play footy. So I could imagine how hard it is when you're trying to figure out what you want to do. For someone to say to you, you're not strong enough, not good enough yet.
Yeah, I feel like it was good though the way that they did say, like, competitiveness is something I can control. Being strong, being tough is something I can control. I think those coaches at times as well can be way more brutal, or the external noises of recruiters and stuff when they talk about other kids who have got who aren't gifted in the height department, let's say, and that's stuff you can't grow in a gym. Yeah. So like, I guess as a 16-year-old, being called uncompetitive, you can either go one of two ways. You can either kick the dirt, kick the grass, be like, oh, this sucks. What the fuck? Who does he think he is? Like, I'm trying my ass off. Or you can actually make and do something about it. But I was also surrounded by recruiters telling my mates that they were too short or too slow, and slowness as well can be debatable. You can maybe potentially grow or make yourself quicker and stuff, but I think a lot of it does and potentially come from genetics as well. Yep. But yeah, I feel like the height one was always a thing that plays on kids' minds growing up.
Especially draft,
Yeah, especially like 16, 17, 18. And even at times recruiters might say, have you gone through your growth spurt? Are you done growing? Like, I was like, oh, I don't know. I can't predict the future. And if I can,
I'll ask my knees, are we done yet? Or so you play at North, you said seniors, you do eventually play senior reserve, but your first draft window, the year where you could get drafted, 2 collarbones, broke,
yeah, same one. So I broke first contest, full of energy. To be honest, again, like I said, I was the same height I am now, weighed 63 kilos or something. I remember the ball going inside forward 50, and I was a forward at this time. And I just V-lined for, not the ball, for the guy that was chasing the ball, and I just tried to bump him. I remember bumping him, and I was like, whoa, it was just a sharp pain. But again, adrenaline, all this sort of stuff. And I tried to continue to play, and I just remember going, I can't lift my arm. Like, I was just doing these ones, and I just felt limp. And I was like, it's sore. Ball comes out and I'll go to try and grab it again. And my arm didn't want to go grab it. And I was just like, cradled it. I ran to the bench. I was like, this is sore. And, probably not the same facilities. You're in under 18s. And I come in and they're like, yeah, it's all good. We'll give you some pain relief and you sit on the bench. I remember sitting on the bench and I started feeling like ill. I just wanted to throw up. And I was like, and I sat through pretty much the whole game. And I was like, can you let my dad know? Like, third quarter comes by and we go to the hospital and they're like, yep, crack just through. And I was like, oh, great. What's the go now? And they're like, oh, I think it was a fracture. So like it fractured and it wasn't quite to the end. So they're like, it will naturally heal. Just let it be. So I had sling, did 8 weeks, whatever it was, came back and played one full game. And then same way happened the first time in my second game. It must have not healed completely, and it cracked not like this way. It cracked sort of the another way.
Oh,
And so again, that started that whole process. And I was fortunate enough to get into finals and played finals for under 18s. And I guess at the end of that year, recruiters were interested by my attributes and stuff. And I still got interviewed by a lot of clubs. I had a lot of interest. Maybe 8 to 9 clubs spoke to me.
Coming off 2
Broken
breaks.
collarbone. I would have played 4 games in under 18s. And I remember sitting down in some of them and they'd be like, so just looking at your numbers, you're averaging 10 touches in under 18s. There are players who are playing reserves and league footy averaging 20. Why should we pick you? And I was like, oh, you're right.
That is right.
Don't pick me. I'll just go curl up in a fetal position at home, cry, and let mum breastfeed me again for another
Thanks.
2 years.
Actually, you guys are right. I'm bad.
Yep, I'm out.
I'm wasting your time now. Sorry about that.
Can I leave the room? So, yeah, I had to deal with that and I guess try and sort of stand out for myself. And the hard part was you see all your friends that you grew up with get drafted and you go back to North Adelaide in pre-season and everyone's sort of going, oh, good, bad luck. It could have been you and all this. And you start getting these stories. And I was pretty miserable for a week or two. I really struggled to leave the house. I was like, oh, man, like people living my childhood dream that I know of. But Mum sort of pulled me aside and was like, look, let's get everything sorted. Like this isn't you. This isn't the best version of you. You're at home. What are you doing? Like, let's get you back into uni. What's your age? Like, and all this sort of stuff. And before I knew it, I was like, I'm just going to play footy, have fun. And it's funny, like I just turned 18, already finished my first year of uni. So I was allowed to go to pub crawls, which was really cool.
Sick.
And then everyone at uni was like, let's make your schedule the uni way. And I was like, well, what does that mean? So it was like Monday to Wednesday, I was booked out at Mawson Lake. So I went to Mawson Lake's uni. Trek, but it wasn't bad from Jeps Cross.
Yeah.
And I had a motorbike at the time, which was really cool. But then on Thursdays, I was at the North Terrace campus in the city and Friday was always off. So Thursdays, what we did was there was a group of us, we played pool in the uni lounge. And I feel like, and this is why I drink dark ale now, but the beers were cheap because we're students, but dark ale was always cheaper.
Dark ale.
And we used to get the jugs of dark ale and we used to just smash them. We used to get so drunk.
Dark ale.
Yeah. Coopers?
It would have been. Yeah. Or
I went to the same uni. Can I say, not only was that a great little place to have a few beers, the pub crawls that they would do.
The best.
Like, by far the best, because they'd do a sign-up day at the start of the year and you'd join like the Engineer Society, all of these things, just because they're known to have epic pub crawls.
Wow.
It was just their
a good
thing.
mix of people on these pub crawls drinking dark ales.
Fun. Yeah.
Is everyone on a dark ale?
Yeah. Well, not everyone, but our little friendship group did.
Just drinking dark ales.
Dark ales. And then, and I just feel like as well, you have a few beers on a Thursday. Then we used to go to, Thursdays was uni night and it was at Saracens. Do you remember Saracens?
$2 schooners.
Love how Ollie's been everywhere.
Yeah, and the Havelock Hotel.
The Habby wasn't bad.
Yep, Thursday nights. Yep, $2 schooners. Yep.
But yeah, we end up there, and I think after a certain time, then it turned into like $1 Skittle bombs or something ridiculous.
That's a bargain.
And that would send you for 6.
Yeah.
But regardless, like I just started enjoying life, and it wasn't every Thursday, obviously, because once footy season occurred, and you sort of you tone it back, but you might have one with a game of pool, whatever. I just started playing better footy, and I was like, well, halfway through the year, as a 19-year-old. Clubs started getting reinterested and everyone's asking like, what's changed? You look like a different person and all this. And I'm like, well, I just feel like I've got a better work-life balance. Like I'm just enjoying myself, everything. Like I'm not putting no pressure on myself. My football's flourishing because of everything away from footy. Like I'm doing uni, I'm doing great. I'm having fun. I've got friends. And I just wasn't in this life of regret or putting too much expectation on myself or saying, I need to get drafted. Because as an 18-year-old, that's all I wanted to do. Well,
that's all everyone does as well, though. Yeah. As an 18-year-old, your whole focus is, I'm getting drafted. It's happening. It's happening. But you don't really plan for maybe you break your collarbone twice and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just don't get picked. But then you do have a good year. Like you said, you played good footy and you play state carnival and kick 5.
Yep, which was good
Awesome.
fun. Yeah.
So you play good footy, and at the end of that season, I know you're having your fun, but at the end of that season, when everything's back on track, do you now feel like this is my time? I'm getting drafted now. I just think I've done enough.
Still probably not, because it's so funny. Like when I was younger, being an overager, even if you're over by 1 year, it was deemed like a bit funny.
But
like,
he should be doing that.
Yeah,
you know?
Like you should be dominating. You should, and you're 9. Like it was seen a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I felt like as well at the time, Richmond were really good at that, because my draft was obviously Rioli. Then it was myself and Nathan Broad. And then we picked up like Adam Markon and a few like boys that were just ready to play. I wasn't ready to play, but like Nathan Broad and Adam Markon were. And I felt like they sort of not converted, but they were a little bit of like a bit of a front runner of like middle-aged recruits, people that are AFL ready or nearly there.
Can plug him in straight away.
Plug and play. And I'd like as a 19-year-old, you're sort of going, oh, that was my biggest thing. No matter how good I was at playing under 18s reserves, or I played 2 league games, I was still an overager, and that automatically, if you were in the top 20, you'd probably get pushed out to a late 60s pick, if you know what I mean. Like, and it's different now. Thank God it is. We're seeing some incredible people get an opportunity. We just signed a few. We've got the SSP now, which is great. But yeah, so many more people in the draft are going as older players and older men, or as young adults, which is fantastic to see. So again, a lot of doubt, and you don't know. And I guess the year before, you get your hopes up and it doesn't happen. I sort of didn't want to get my hopes up too much.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Well, you do get drafted to Richmond, and that first year you play 8 in a row. So you make a debut and then play. Like, that's pretty. As a pick 50. So at pick 50, if we're being honest, I think Clubland, they never say it to you, clubs aren't expecting you to play. Really. I mean, they're picking you up as someone who, project player, if he trains and develops himself into a player, awesome. But at pick 50, it's like, let's bring him in and see what he can do here. You come in pick 50 your first year, play 8 in a row, average 15 touches. So now you're averaging more than you did in your draft year. These clubs that were saying, hey, you only averaged 10. Now you're averaging 15 at AFL level. You would have been like, awesome.
Yeah, no, it definitely, it sort of is a funny one. I was a forward, so I got picked up as a forward.
I was going to ask that, yeah.
I trained as a forward all preseason, and that, to be honest, the whole team got skittled. Our team, like, as in, the whole team fell over, got injured. Basher was out. Brett Delidio's body wasn't holding up at that point, or he was playing forward potentially. So we actually needed a half back. We didn't have a half back. I think at one stage, we were playing players out of position at half back, wingers, half forwards, and that. And Dimmer actually went. He came up to me and goes, "Hey mate, you're going to be playing half back, as in the VFL." And all year I was playing as a forward, probably would have averaged maybe in the VFL, 0.7 of a goal.
Great. It's almost one.
Almost one.
Yeah.
And probably had 8 to 9 touches a game on average. So I'm back in that sort of area. And I had one game in the VFL, and I might have had 18, and I was like, I've got leather poisoning. Have I ever had 18? Never in my life have I had 18 touches, ever.
Out of your skin.
Out of my skin. Like, this is incredible. And then the week goes on, and thought nothing of it. I was like, cool, I'm a backman now. This is awesome. I was just doing Pilates, and Dimmer comes over, and he like slaps it up with me and goes, "You're playing this week?" And I was like, wait, what? And he just like walked off casually. I looked around, and the other 4 boys that were doing, because we had the graveyard shift as first years. So
yeah,
like,
you do.
Yeah, 4:30 PM.
Gross.
You're sitting there doing Pilates, and then the other boys like, you play? Like, and then a little cuddle up, and then our Pilates teacher's like, get back to doing reformer work. What are you doing? Like, but
hey, can I ask, graveyard shift? So 4:30 is like the worst time to train, is it? Or to do anything?
Well, I feel like because when you talk about, like, let's say Pilates or anything like that, you've only got 5 to, depending on how rich your club is, 5 to 10 reformers. It's 44 players on a list.
Yeah, right.
So, your captains or your big dogs, multi-million-dollar contracts, they'll be in slot A at 2:00. So once they finish, they're out. Then you've got your next group and your next group and your next group, and obviously they sort of leave the
shit
first
kickers,
years until
the sweaty
very
reformers
last
for-
group.
Mate, your
And
list
then-
cloggers and your first year players are on the 4:30 graveyard and
Yeah.
out of there at 5:15,
5,
Yeah.
5:30,
and then
getting
you
the
start
traffic,
getting hour
traffic.
We've all been there.
Where it's like your Gary Applets, your Mark Murphys, your Paddy Cripps, they get
Yeah.
at 2:00. Miss the traffic, boys. Go home. have a
Yeah.
coffee.
Oh, and Punt Road for you too. As
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Oh,
What
no,
was that?
thank you.
Speaking, is Punt Road as when you were there? Is that just a nightmare to get into?
That was worse before because they didn't have that like loop-de-loop way to get onto the out like because I was out in Doncaster for a period there and I was stuck at traffic. I remember once being on the highway or the freeway, sorry, for an hour and a half and I couldn't actually stop and like pull over or do anything. And I was just sitting there going, I'd love to just pull over and have a nap and then wake up and everything's just gone. But I couldn't even get off or wait and the shoulders, like emergency cars were flying past. I think a garbage truck caught on fire, God knows how. And then
Chlorine bomb.
Chlorine bomb.
and my mates.
Yeah, get them.
But yeah, again, a funny story of traffic in my first year was in the mornings, I used to just sort of roll in, like, let's say team meetings at 8:15. I would have my GPS set, like I'll get there at 8 o'clock. So if anything happened on the roads, you're cooked. So I was once driving and we all had that feeling of like, you're getting closer. It says your estimated arrivals 8:15, meetings at 8:15. You don't want to get there. Like you might as well just be late completely and miss the whole meeting, whatever it is. Or you're thinking of excuses. Why was I late? And all this stuff goes through your head. And I felt all this anxiety, but I was on Punt Road and at the bottom of Punt Road before you go up the hill and back down, sort of going from Doncaster way, there's a Hungry Jack's there. And so it said 15 minutes to get from here to our ground, and it was a kilometre. And I just did the maths, and I was like, well, on a good day, I could probably run this in about 4 minutes. So I'm just gonna park at Hungry Jack's. So I just drove into Hungry Jack's, parked my car there, got my backpack on, and started sprinting up this hill. So I started sprinting. I could get down, and I'm like, for some reason, still took me more than 4 minutes. With a backpack
Yeah,
on,
you
like
just
in my
had a whopper.
casuals and stuff. And then halfway through, like with my casuals, I'm like sort of pushing it as well. And I'm like, I better start changing. So I start like changing, start putting on my warm up top and that. And I'm starting to run down the hill. And we get to the bit. And as people are walking into the meeting room, I've like flung my bag like onto the side of the exit door. And I've like just waltzed on in. I'm all sweating and I'm just sitting in the front row like, whoa. Meeting finishes and Dim was pretty quick. He was like, all right, this is training, blah, blah, blah. Go get ready. We're training like as quickly as we can. And I was like, fuck. So I don't have time to go get my car that's waiting in a 15-minute zone at Hungry Jack's. I was like, I'm going to have to just hope it's there and pick it up later. So I've done training and that, and the whole time I'm just thinking of my car. Like the whole time. I'm like, man, like it can't be towed, can it? I then we finish training straight, like no icy, no, a quick shower, get all my clothes back on. I'm sprinting back to go get my car, like keys in my hand, just sprinting back. I get to my car and it's still there. And I'm like, no ticket, no boot, walked around my car. Great. Looked at the time. I'm like, all right, now I've got about 20 minutes. Haven't had lunch. What are the deals on today? So I got the Hunger Tamers box. So I'm there smashing through and I remember picking up my Hunger Tamers box. I'm like, I can't roll into the club with this. So I like looked behind me, no cards behind me, just drove past the window a little bit so they couldn't see me, or like I'm still in the driveway, like in the drive-through. I'm just hopping this Whopper, barbecue cheeseburger, chips, sucking this drink down as quick as I can, brain freeze and all. And then I'm like, oh, they forgot my Cornetto. Reverse back. Cornetto, please. You forgot it. Cornetto, and just drove on in. And that was the moment I just thought, all right, rather than being on time and having these sort of stressful days and feeling like this, I just used to get to training like an hour early.
That's so good. That is just a wild day.
Yeah, it was a wild day, but now that's why I'm always on time to a lot of things now. So.
I imagine just going to work and seeing Oleg Markov just humming it
Well, I
down,
was just gonna say,
trying to change his outfit.
You know, coming from Tasmania, you know, we're not used to seeing footy players. You know, they're almost not real people.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine just going, is that?
It is.
Hang on.
And then he sprints back. And then, like, your decision to say, because I know there would have been lunch at the club,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you've gone, fuck, I'm here now.
Yeah.
May as well grab a cornetto, a double bacon and cheese.
Going back for the Cornettos, that's a bold move.
Smoking it in your car and going back to training like nothing's happened. That's so good. So that was in your first year.
Yeah, first year. So that was before I even played a game. So that was probably the difference between sort of rolling in on time. And I used to live with Grimesy and Nathan Drummond, and they used to like leave at like just before 7, like 6:45.
Losers.
And I was like waking up. And I was like, oh,
Wouldn't have thought.
what the hell? Like, you guys are idiots. Like, our meeting's an hour and like
You
an hour and a
idiots.
half away. Are you serious? But after that day, I soon was like, yep, I'm leaving at this time. You're better to get there, no stress, walk around, talk to the boys, like do some leg swings and stuff. Like, I don't know what athletes and professionals do.
Yeah. Do you ever go to the boys, say, boys, life hack, up the road, HJ's.
Yeah.
Park there and
run
just
in.
fang it down there, boys. You'll beat the traffic.
You'll be surprised.
You'll be surprised how quick it is. All the Richmond boys just humming down Punt Road the next week. Richmond running. So that's your first year. The next year we get into flag territory now.
Yeah.
So in and out of the team this year, and Richmond were good all year, but I think it was Geelong and Adelaide where everyone kind of pinned their ticket to, saying these two teams are probably going to win it here. Richmond win the flag.
Yeah.
And you play the last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So you're probably thinking, I'm going to play finals here. And then you don't play finals at all and you have to watch them win the flag.
Yeah.
Was that tough for you? And did you think I should have been in that team or not?
It's at the time probably yeah. Like I'm not gonna lie. I did live a life of envy for a period there. Of just it was more so. I think once you get together as players and you see the players who played with their families and you hear the words that they say and acknowledge to their like sons, how proud they are. Your fans are thanking them, crying, saying how proud they are of them. You sort of go, like, is anyone proud of me? Like you sort of go through this bit of, I was nearly there. It did change the landscape of Richmond at that time as well. It was pretty special, 2017, and I'll forever keep dear to my heart. And I guess at the time, I hadn't played many games. I was just trying to just play my role, play my spot. And I probably look at my first 5 years at Richmond. I was probably very inconsistent because I was very unsure of who I was as a player, as an athlete, as a human. I was trying to just sort of fit in, and I wasn't very confident. Like I was confident off field and making other people laugh, and I think that was the one thing I loved seeing all your mates smile. But I think after 3 successful sort of years and a prelim, and you're sort of in and out, and
you're watching it unfold,
and you're watching it unfold. You're 17 I was the last dropped. 20 I was emergency. There was all sorts of things that were happening in between, and I felt like I needed a clean slate. It was very, like I felt like my life was more sort of revolving around what could have been rather than what it was. So I love Richmond, and I have the biggest soft spot for them. I love all the humans there. I've only had the greatest of times. But that trade, I think, was sort of more so instigated from me. I know Dimmer wanted to keep me. Dimmer loved. He knew Basher Hooley wasn't going to be around forever, and that was always sort of my role at one stage. Once I became a back, it was like when Basher went down, I would fill the void. Then when he got fit, it was like, all right, can we fit him in? And we experimented wing, we experimented half forward. There was a lot of different things that occurred. And Dimmer wanted to play me, obviously wanted to keep me, but I think for me personally, I just needed to just get out of that sort of bubble. And at the time, that was quite refreshing for me. It was probably one of the harder decisions because of the mateship, the mates you make. And I love all those boys so dearly. I don't have a bad bone with anyone. And I sort of just, even like my last year, the whole COVID year, we just gelled so well together. And I know, Ollie, you would have been in love with our sort of hub year because we had 2 guys that went to the strip club.
You would have loved that. Yeah. You would have loved that.
I reckon you would have.
I was pretty
been
envious.
with them.
Yeah. No, yeah. I was, No,
you would
I'd
have
be
been.
envious.
Yeah, you would have.
Kebabs.
That would have been your culture big time.
Yeah.
Kebabs and
Kebabs
boobies.
and
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying because I've been, not that we had the success that Richmond did, but especially your last grand final, I think 20, you're the emergency for the grand final. So you get to a point, I don't know if you did, where they're your mates, but you're sitting there watching these games going, I hope you play bad. Because I'm kind of like, you're in the best 26, but not the best 23 at the moment.
Yeah.
So you kind of have this envy where you go to games and you're like, just play bad.
I think.
Did you get that or not? Not because it's not spiteful. It's just like your mind goes.
I think I never wished anyone to play bad, but I did wish there was a way I could fit in, whether that be like, let's say, form or injury. I was always like, oh, I hope a spot opens up, because I was like, oh, I think I'm ready. Like, and I can't actually be certain if I was ready or not. And I'm actually so grateful probably that I didn't play in those, because it probably allowed me to blossom the way I did last year, and allowed me to perform the way I did. And yeah, I don't feel like I was entirely confident in myself and that, but yeah, I do believe you sort of do wish there was a way you could fit in.
It's hard, especially when you're so close, though. You know, like you're literally on the cusp. It's the next man down, you're probably in. And you've been at Richmond and you've had to watch at ground level your teammates go and win 3 AFL flags.
Yeah, I think the grand final day, the moment you come to realisation when you don't play, the moment the whistle goes. Like, I remember being emergency warming up. You still had to warm up. And you're sort of sitting there and everyone goes out and they've still got about 10 minutes. And at Richmond, we were like, no, don't get changed just in case. The bounce isn't gone. And then once the whistle goes, it's like the game has started. First bounce has happened. You're like, all right, I'm 100% not coming on. Like, all your 0.001% chance of playing is now 0. And I guess you sort of sit in the shower. I remember being in the shower. I took a pretty long shower just in the hot water, just like going, all right, let's just get together, go up there and just support the boys. And everything changes. But also with the 20, like, you finish the shower. I remember coming up and the room was like, sorry, the whole Gabba, because we played at the Gabba that year, 2020, had a shower, come to terms. I'm just going to go support everyone I can. Walked up to the top and it was very eerie and quiet. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And then I see a stretcher drive out and I was like, wow, what has happened? And then as I look at everyone sort of in our little enclosure, everyone was like in shocked face and all this sort of stuff. Looked at the replay and that's when Nick Floston got knocked out. And I was like, wow, like, this is just going to be so much harder.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? And I was like, oh man, like, if only there was like a different sub rule. How could I come in now? Like, and all these other brand new emotions come in, and then that game itself was incredible. And once we won, it was like, it's probably the first time I didn't completely sprint out. Geelong, the reserves and the Richmond reserves shared the same race, and I just remember taking some time back. I remember all of our boys running back, and I just remember shaking a few of the boys' hands and wishing them well for the next couple of years and that. And I slowly just started walking out. I just remember capturing it all because I think that was the time I knew that I wasn't going to be coming back.
Yeah.
And I've sort of seen 3 of them now, and I was like, wow, this is really cool and different environment. We're at the Gabba and that, but it was like, all right, is this now like done? Yeah. Like, and that story of what if, like, it was always like, wow, like I could have done. Yeah. And that's a really bad place to live as well, because you're living in a life of the past, and that's probably affecting your future and it's affecting your present. So I've always tried to exterminate that, and I always see the positives in my time there, and I can only speak so highly of my time at Richmond.
I think you say that, like, you've seen 3 now. The third one, you sit there and go, I'm not coming back here. Like, it's going to be, and realistically, they're not probably going to win any more here. So, you know, I don't think I'm going to be a chance to win one here, and I think I can play good footy. So you take that jump to go to Gold Coast, and from knowing your story a little bit, Goldie was a tough period for you.
Yeah, I think the first 9 months was really fun. It was fun for me regardless of the results. I was very happy in the sense of I was playing footy. I was enjoying myself. I felt like I was one of the main running backs. I was an offensive weapon. I was I felt I felt
Part of it?
part of it. Yeah, I felt like in a sense, in a weird way, valued. And I had a few soft tissue injuries, and when that occurred, that's when sort of things just spiraled sort of a bit out of control. And I think at the time as well, we we're quite an outcome driven organisation, and that being the Suns. And again, with the amount of expectation, the results, I can see how that was the case. But I guess no 2 weeks sort of looked the same, and depending if we won or lost, the training would be slightly different, the meetings would go differently. And I think that's the one thing Collingwood do really well, regardless if we win or lose. We've structured everything very similar so we can actually bounce back quicker. We can. This isn't too disfamiliar. Our sort of mantra and fly always says it, we just got to get better every day, whether you win or lose. So there's no point going, well, we've lost, let's have a crisis meeting for 3 hours and figure out why we're breaking down. If anything, it causes more, whatever it is. Like it's unfamiliar.
Yep.
And then when you win, like we enjoy our wins. They're deep wins. We enjoy them with our friends and family, but give it 2 days. And when we come back in on the Monday, it's like we want to get better today. We're growing. We move on. We've got a new opposition. Footy doesn't remember. You've got to just show up again. And I guess through that period, that was sort of where I was at. At the Suns, it was very it got pretty negative for me. It was. I despised going to the club. I struggled. I was very unhappy, and I didn't know why. And again, probably to this day, I really don't. I can point my fingers at so many different things, but I don't think that's right. A lot of events sort of occurred, and I probably, there was a period there where I did check out, and that's something I'm pretty ashamed about. Sort of going in, I wanted just to play VFL. I didn't want to. For the last 6 months, I probably try to make excuses not to play AFL. I didn't want to. I felt I was more valued at VFL level. I had young boys that looked up to me. I felt like a leader. I felt like my voice was heard. I felt like I had more in control. And I mean, the best part, the closure for me was my exit meeting. We sort of just sat down, and remember when I sort of said it with my chest, like, I know that we haven't had any contract conversations. I know there's not a spot there, but if you did have one in front of me, I don't think I can sign it. Like, I'm just so unhappy. And I just remember, like, the moment I said that out loud was the moment I almost felt like, whoa, I felt better. I just smiled. I shook everyone's hand. And I just had so many other things planned, which was sparking my joy at the time. And and again, I'm so grateful that I experienced those things in my life. They weren't all negative. They're incredible lessons to be learnt. Would I have my time again? Probably not. It wouldn't have shaped me to be the person I am today. And I felt like my positivity now thrives from a place knowing what the other side looks like and never taking it for granted anymore. Because having it all sort of disappear the way it did and the way it made me feel, I never want anyone to go through sort of what I went through, and I'll continue to make it in a positive, fun environment for everyone involved in football, because some people are in football for 1 or 2 years where they get drafted, and whatever circumstances are, they leave. I want people to have a good imprint on football, because I've probably seen people come in and out of the system and have a bitter, salty taste about the football industry, and I never want that to be how young men come in. I want them to come in as boys or as young adults and leave better and bigger and more independent. And and I feel like that's sort of that image I have of my own teammates now. We've got some incredible talent, and I can't wait for them to essentially take my spot, take my job, and sort of have a smooth transition, because I love Collingwood so much. I want the very best for them because of what they've given me and provided me, but that also means I have to sort of repay them by hopefully growing the next crop. Being, I want to be someone it's like a seamless transition. And again, I'm no superstar or anything like that. And again, we're lining up to play round 0 soon, and I'm hopeful that I'll put my hand up high enough to play. And I'm always that sort of in the 22 to 26 players at the moment, and I like having that mindset. It doesn't make me complacent, but also we've got kids that are coming up that are already better than me footy-wise. So I just want to make sure that they get as much exposure, as much knowledge as I can, so they can, come in, blossom, take my spot, and I would actually be wrapped if they can outdo me.
What a man. Like, you've just, so many things in what you just said, mate. Like, because I've been to that totally different. I know everyone's journey is different, but that place when you're in football and you're just like, oh, I fucking hate it here and I'm so upset and I don't want to be here. And then I don't even know internally what's happening, so I can't tell anyone really what I'm going through, but I just know it would be better for me to walk away. That's the first thing that is just, I throw so much kudos and congratulations your way to then flip it around to where you are now, because it's big to pick yourself up from that bottom of the barrel and be like, well, this has to turn because I don't want to feel like that. And the first decision is saying no more footy. And then for you to win a flag and sit there and say, I want people to come and take my spot and there's people better than me. I don't think I've heard an athlete who coming off a season to be like, come and get my spot. Like, really, there's people better than me. I know that. So if they're better than me, awesome. Let's bring them up high and push them up higher. So credit to you as a human, mate. You just, I think I said at the start, you're just an amazing person.
No,
and
I
your
appreciate it.
personality is
Thank you.
infectious, and I can see why Collingwood has wrapped their arms around you right now, because it's easy to wrap your arms around such a likable character.
No, I
So
appreciate
thank you
it.
for your
No,
honesty
Thank you
with
for the
that.
kind words. I
No,
really
thank
do
you.
appreciate it.
And I do want to talk now about where you're just at, as I said, bottom of the barrel, footy scrap heap, life, fuck, I don't know what I want to do. What am I doing? I'm just upset. I'm sad. And then Fly calls you and says, come to Collingwood. And my first thought, if that would happen, is one, I don't know if I want to, and is going from the smallest club in Australia to the biggest club. am I quite ready to jump over that bridge? What was that decision to be like, you know what, Fly, let's do it. Let's have a crack at it.
It's funny you say that, because that's the exact same thought I had. I think the relationship that Fly and I had, obviously from Richmond days, it gave me enough traction to trust him. And he never promised me anything. He sort of said, look, mate, there's one spot on our list and I want you here. I don't think the list managers at Collingwood wanted me there. I don't think any of the coaches wanted me there. But Fly was the one who's like, hey, I can pull the strings. It's crazy to think that I can pull the strings now. Like, I'm a head coach. I'm no longer an assistant. I can do this. So his call was me. It was a Friday afternoon. I just finished some support work out and on the freeway back to my house, and stuck in traffic half an hour. And when Fly said where I was at, I remember just going, like, I can either go about this two ways, lie, or I can just be honest with him. And I just wanted to be honest with him and as transparent as I could. And I just said, look, mate, I haven't trained. I haven't enjoyed my football. And I just laid it all down. I just said, look, this is where I'm physically and mentally at. And I just, to be honest, I probably expected him, and he didn't get a word in for 30 minutes. I used him as like a therapist. So I'm surprised he hasn't charged me for it. But yeah, I expected him to just say, look, mate, it just seems like you're burnt out. You're done. Look, if you ever need anything, give me a call. Like, that's what I expected him to say. But all he said was, it sounds like you need a bit of love. He goes, I'm not going to promise you anything, but come train. Just come train, different environment. Where I feel like we can get the best out of you. And his last words were, your best is good enough for my side.
Whoa.
And I remember going, you just made the prelim. I'm here playing VFL football. Like, what do you mean? And at the same time, though, it almost made me go, smell that? Is that deep heat in here? Why does it smell like a change rooms? Why are my thumbs taped? Why, like, and I just went into this footy mode of like, well, I'm actually like really excited. Like,
back,
I felt like almost a bit like rejuvenated, but very skeptical as well. And came home and told my partner. And at that time, I'd written down, and I'd obviously spoken to a few people. And I said, I'd only consider coming back if it was Richmond or Collingwood. And I said that specifically because of Richmond's environment and what I'd already known previously, and Collingwood because of what I've seen from a third part, like from the outset, and also knowing Fly, Leper, and funny enough, Bolts at one stage.
Bolts. Big
Bolts, and it's funny because Bolts, when he was the head coach at Carlton, he tried to get myself and Brandon Ellis over.
Really?
Yeah. So
Wow.
I've had the meeting with Bolts sitting there, and he's shown the team, and then he's gone, you'd fit in right there. And I'm like, starting 22, I've played 15, 20 games.
Is this the VFL team or
Yeah,
which one?
Are you sure, Bolts?
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, I think we started 12-10 easy. I'll be there.
But yeah, like just knowing those people and what they were building probably gave me enough confidence to
100%.
make the move across. And that SSP time was, oh God.
I want to talk about this. So they presented to you like that, but saying you have to train and earn this spot.
Yeah.
So you train there.
Yeah.
And then I think they had someone else above you at the time training.
They had Oscar Steen.
Oscar Steen.
Yeah.
So then you train with them after seeing these boards with your name on it. And then Carlton say, well, come train with us.
Well, it's sort
Or
of.
did Collingwood say you can go train with them? Well, they were done with the decision.
Well, so they actually gave the list spot to Oscar.
Okay.
So then all of a sudden, from the one list spot, there was two of us fighting for it. Oscar got it.
You say, hold on, but you showed me those boards before.
Yeah.
And
No. I was talking about Carlton before. So,
Oh,
so,
Carlton,
so it was a
Carlton.
Fly showing me
Oh,
the board.
sorry, yeah.
This is like a few years before.
Yeah.
So they show so they give the spot to Oscar, and then Fly brings me into his office and goes, look, we've gone with Oscar. Not unfortunately. He goes, fortunately, we've gone with him. We need to have him. And I was like, I completely agree. But I just remember thanking him. I just so much of me I was very flat. I felt like I was part of the furniture. I really didn't leave. Like the day I walked in there, day one as an SSP, it was the exact same person I am today. So I was still jovial. I just try to be myself. All walls were completely down. And at the same time, the deflating part was knowing that I wasn't going to be there the next day. But I also knew that I'd left no stone unturned. I gave it my absolute all. And that meeting was sort of like, all right, thank you. I appreciate everything you've done, Fly. Like, don't ever feel like this has affected our relationship. I still want to have a beer with you at the end of the year. I wish you all the best. And yeah, I was just really thankful that he rekindled my love for the game. And I literally walked out and I called my partner and I was like, yep, I don't have it. Are we moving back to Gold Coast? Do you want to come down to Melbourne? And then I was just like, I don't know what to do. Can I just have a bit of space? And as I was walking, I messaged my manager going, I didn't get it. And then the first thing you do is message, send, and then I was just like Instagram, just walked to my car because I didn't have a car park pass. So my car had to park like
HJ's.
HJ's.
You'd sprint it back up Punt Road.
It's only an extra 600 metres.
I was sobbing, sprinting back to my car. As I was walking back to Bridge Road, I was just scrolling through my Instagram and the unfortunate event of Zach Williams.
Yep.
He ruptured his ACL, and it was literally posted 1 or 2 minutes ago, and I was like, whoa. And then my manager calls me and goes, hey, just been in contact with the list management at Carlton. Do you want to go and train there? And I was like, what does that mean? And this all happened on a Saturday. They just done their preseason camp, and then they wanted me in on Tuesday for a medical. And the whole time I was like, yep, I'm ready. But then as that weekend went past, I was like, oh my God, I don't think I am. I've let my walls down. I was so vulnerable at this club. I don't feel like I'm ready to let my walls down somewhere that's a bit foreign and new coach. And I don't know the coach or many of the players. And I've got the utmost respect. I know game day happens, and because they wear a different colour to me, I despise of them. But I have the most appreciation and the utmost respect for that football club and that organisation, and both the staff and the players for actually showing interest in me, welcoming me in. I can only speak highly of them, and I'll forever appreciate and have a really big soft spot for Carlton. It's a shame that we're such a big rival, but I generally again, want to thank them so much for showing interest and actually giving me another opportunity to train for an extra day. And I'm just super happy and grateful that they allowed me to pursue my
come to the doors and
get me in there in the sanctum. And I'm appreciative, but also all right, I'll park that. Now it's time to hate them again.
So you're a bagger for a day.
I was for 2 days. Yeah, I had a medical on the Tuesday, day off, and then all the boys came back on a Thursday.
Well,
and it was a bit of a captain's run, and then they had a sort of an intra club. So I was meant to play that, and I left. And my manager calls me and goes, "Hey, like in a perfect world, where would you want to be? You can continue trying out for Carlton because they'll need a running back, or you can come back to Collingwood because something might have opened up." And I was like, in a perfect world, I'd want to be there. I've just been there for the last period of time. I love the coach. I love the players. And I've just been there. I felt at home there. I was like, "Can you get me there?" You guys will go back, grab your boots, leave your swiper. I don't think you'll be there tomorrow. I was like, "Okay, cool." And it was just the nervous thing of walking back in. Reese, see you guys. See you tomorrow. Just like have my boots on me under the
I'll
arm.
definitely see you guys tomorrow. Trying to act normal.
And then, and then we just went out for dinner and got the call that I was going to be a Collingwood player, which was incredible. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Mate, well, you and I had pretty similar careers at Carlton, to be honest with you. I think I've still got my swiper, though. It was very brief, though, and short, but I like your words to Carlton, and it's just amazing how things happen. Like you were out the door in Collingwood, and then in the door in Carlton, then 24 hours after that, you're back at Collingwood, which is just wild.
When they call, do they call a little bit with their tail between their legs in terms of the fact that they originally said, really, we're into you, but, not right now. And then when they call back going, we want you to be a Collingwood player.
No, because I'd openly said to them, I said, if anything pops up and there was an opportunity for me to play on at the VFL side, and if something had occurred, you can then pick players from the VFL. So that was always an appeal to me. But I also wanted to play with Benny Crocker, who happened to be at Carlton, and he was trying to poach me to Carlton VFL. So there was like this, all of a sudden, this arm wrestle where I wanted to play with a mate and then also the environment at Collingwood. But I don't think there was ever a sort of. I just wanted to be there. So I was very lucky and fortunate, and I think both clubs got the best of both worlds. I mean, Collingwood got this fella, and then also Carlton got to reward one of their players in Chincotta, who's, I think, a really good player, very honest, hardworking. And the day I was there, we were competing against each other in the gym and like training against each other. But he was just so he was someone who assisted me a lot. He supported me, he helped me out with the club and that, because he's been in that environment, that facility for a period of time. And I can only speak so highly of the way he came and approached me as a competitor. I think he's a super fella, super talent, and it's incredible that he gets to live out his childhood dream that he's worked so hard for too. So big shout out to him. He's
a good man. Chincotta, he's a good man. We'll try and get him on, I think. Maybe. Now, probably not.
Think about it.
Yeah, we'll think about it. I don't know. We've got a few names. We've got Charlie, Harry. We've got a Gripper. So this is just crazy because you've gone from delisted, but not delisted because you were like, I'm done with footy, to now being at
I was still delisted. I'll just say that. I was done post. The moment.
So
I was contemplating retiring when I didn't have any fishing terms, nibbles or bites from any other clubs. I was very open to if someone but I was very hesitant to those because, again, I had a lot of clubs call me or call my management and go, can we get your GPS results? Like, what do your game look like and your training standards and all this sort of stuff? Because I think they probably had this perceived thing of me, of a couple of clubs, in and out of the side, bad bloke. Like, I felt like that was maybe tattoos, like
what's
maybe
happening
perception.
Here? What's happening?
Yeah, what's happening here? So I sent over my GPS to a few clubs, which we won't name them, but they never got back to me.
No,
so,
I didn't.
Yeah, so to those 3 or 4 clubs, stuff you.
I think there's no internet at West Coast. It's just crazy because you are no opportunities, no nibbles, as you just said, on this footy scrap heap, and then you come into an environment that has just come out of a prelim. You're saying, well, I don't really know where I fit as a player on a team, let alone a good team.
Yeah.
and then you debut in
Brisbane.
round 4
At the Gabba.
at the Gabba,
Yeah.
which is just a great full circle to come back to the place during Richmond where you say,
Yeah.
I'm not coming back here. So that sentiment, and then you don't come out of the team. So when you got in that team for Collingwood,
Yeah.
was there a bit of you that says, I'm not coming out of this team now? Because it's like this,
No,
this
because-
Markov, we haven't seen this Oleg play.
Ever. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
This
No,
is foreign.
to be honest, no, I never had that. I always we spoke about the squeeze, which is like the boogie monster of football. It's like the person that or the thing that everyone's most fearful of when your list is fully healthy and all of a sudden there's a squeeze, people will miss out. And I've dealt with that at Richmond. Like the moment someone was back from injury or whatever, you get squeezed out. And there's so many times that I've been dropped from a game and it's like, you're not doing anything wrong, but we got to fit this person in. And you're like, oh, okay. So I got to go back and just keep marching forward, you know? And the squeeze was always, this boogie monster was always a thing at Collingwood. Like it's because we've got such an incredible competitive environment. Everyone is ready to go. Everyone's playing well. And we've got so many players that can play in different positions and roles. So like throughout the year, I did essentially get dropped. I was in the 23. I was the sub for 4 or 5. Yeah. Which I reckon they got to scrap the averages for that because there's a few sub games where I had 1 touch. So all of a sudden it unravels.
It looks bad.
It looks bad. So
And come contract time, that's bad.
yeah,
you know?
everyone
You don't want
compares
that.
the stats and all of a sudden I'm averaging 10, but 4 of those games I've played a
1.
quarter and I've had 1 or 2 touches. Like, give me a spell.
Yeah,
No.
true.
Anyway, it's not about touches. That's an outcome thing. We're process driven. But no, like I felt like I was so in tune with the present and the process that it never really, I didn't want to ever get consumed by not feeling like I was going to miss out or like I'm not giving this spot up. Like for me, it was like, right, what's my role? Let's be very clear with it and let's just go mission accomplished. Like just keep getting the ticks. Just keep doing your role, whatever that may be on the day. And the roles vary. Sometimes it's like you're high at stoppage, so you might get the ball more. You're defending well through the corridor. Other times you're covering exits. And the best part about covering exits is like you're a winger, so you're just running up and back on this fat side. And then if we don't switch or they don't switch, you're just doing 150.
Just still doing it.
But
yeah.
then at the same time, you might get 5 touches, and then you sit in a meeting. Like I've checked the AFL like app, and you go, I've had a shit game, you know, whatever it is. But then all of a sudden, you get praise internally.
Yeah, this
They
guy's
go,
just running up and down.
yeah,
all
he's
day.
just running up and down. But they couldn't switch it because he was there. And it's
Yep.
just like, oh, cool, I played my role. So that's a tick, tick, tick. Like, and I feel like sometimes people always look at what they see in the newspaper. It's black and white, goals for, you know, whatever it may be. But
there's never no column played role.
yeah.
Which we don't
Which
see.
they should do.
Someone should do that. Yeah.
That's genius.
That is. Did he play his role? Harold Son's going to take this, play role tick. And then you know that, hey, he's got 3 touches, but the wing work was...
But that's they said get 3 touches essentially.
They said. Well,
That's what we want from you.
well, that's obviously the reason why you didn't come out of the team because you were just ticking that box every week,
Yeah,
which is great.
I was just trying to tick as many boxes as I could. And
So, for you, what's been the biggest hurdle that you've had to overcome to get to what you did last year and what you do again this year? What's the thing that Oleg's had to come to grips with or work on to make sure he's loving footy and loving his life? Because when you do that, as we said, you play really good football, which is secondary to life, really.
Yeah.
But when that works, we get this Oleg.
Yeah.
So what's been the biggest thing that you've had to be like, I need to do this, or I want to view something differently?
Yeah, I think the balance of and knowing who I am, not trying to be someone I'm not. We can idolize so many legends, and you know, I could sit down and watch Michael Jordan and Kobe and their mindset and go, this works for everyone. Conor McGregor, like most amount of hours, but that's what probably burnt me out. That's what burnt me out at the Suns. That's what, like, putting all my eggs in the one basket, coming in on my days off, doing extra this, extra that. Like, I just despised football. The best version of me last year was, I've got a day off. Like, we're turning off football. We're turning off everything. I want to, if I go down to the beach or if I go for a walk, I know that a positive. I'm actually doing something that's helping me as well. But I'm not putting it as a recovery focus. It's more like I'm doing this for myself. This is what I want to do. And the wanting thing is so much better for me. So for me, it's finding the balance, keeping it really simple and having just like a really free flowing, but also a bit of like a structured day of I need to actually have time off, or I need to actually do this, or I need to actually do that. And then not being too disheartened if plans don't go my way on days off or things like that. So yeah, I'm finding the balance changes every year as well. Different schedules, different things occur. Obviously this year I've found a lot more commitments, whether that be, you know, like having a chat with you, for instance, but like also away from football, you're doing probably more media at times. Yeah. People are reaching out to you more. I'm also very appreciative of that, but also knowing where my energy is going. Yeah. So I don't want to treat my energy like tickets either. Like I'm only spending X amount of tickets every day, every week. Like I find that you don't have a limit on love or energy, but you need to protect a certain amount and keep watering and growing it and providing a lot of energy in for yourself. And yeah, as long as I keep on top of that, I feel like that's the very best version of me. And yeah, full of energy, full of fun, and just always curious as well. Just want to be asking questions.
Keep doing it, man, because just from afar, the stuff last year that I saw as your football was one thing, it was great, but just your energy on the social clips or whenever you did media, you just, it definitely came through that you were just spending your energy wisely. So just keep doing that, because obviously getting the best out of yourself. I have a couple more questions and then we'll get you out of here.
No, take your time. I'm enjoying this.
Ollie's got to go to the strippers at 12:30.
Yeah, I've actually got an appointment.
Sorry. Yeah, of course.
Front row table.
I know everyone's trying to crack this code about fly.
Yep.
And there's not many times as a club where I think clubs' expectations is you get a new coach and it just changes everything. But that realistically, it's a full system thing.
Yeah.
But when you guys play, it's like you don't want to let him down.
Yeah.
Is he that good of a inspirer, leader? You want to play for him and do as much as you can? Because there's games where you guys shouldn't be in games, 40 points down, and you come back and win it. So is it a bit of fly or a bit of love for each other at this club now? Because it's crazy to watch you guys go about it.
It's a bit of both. I think it's the confidence that Fly has in each one of us and the way he delivers a lot of his messages and the way he shows his love. He's always on the bench. He's very calm. I feel like he gets the best out of the group. Every group's going to be different. I mean, we've got 44 guys, but you know, Richmond had a different philosophy. The Suns had a different philosophy. Like being within the four walls, everyone's quite different. As a collective as well, as a group. So Fly's just cracked the code of how to get the most out of us. And again, we're not a finished sort of product or project either. Like we're constantly growing and things might have to change and alter. Like last year we had in meetings, it was quite jovial and fun to grab everyone's attention, and that's what the group needed. And before big games, all the prelims, finals, grand final, any Anzac Day, like all these, we always had a funny joke at the start of all of our meetings.
Well, you're always smiling when you come out the race.
Yeah, and we're always in hysterics, and it's just that's what the group needs, and that's what all the boys, the older boys, the younger boys, the middle tier, the core group, that's what we thrive in. But again, you could be in a different industry different environment where you might have just a few real big stiffs, like very straight arrow, and maybe humour is not the way to go. So I just feel like he's identified what the group needs are, and he's tailored his coaching towards us. And again, if he's around for another 5-10 years, there'll be a new group of kids that come through, and maybe they're different. Maybe they're, you know, they could be very straight arrow. They could be overly confident, and maybe they need a different way of coaching, and they learn a different way. So I feel like he's very adaptable, and he doesn't have an ego. He wants the best out of everyone, and he'll find what makes the person tick. And if he can make the person happy, he'll make the footballer better. Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I think it's going that way as well. As you said, there's different environments, and your environment, you always, whether it's Darcy who's at the front or Nick or yourself, whoever's at the front, they're always coming out smiling and dancing the music that's on. And then it just leads in your footy because everyone's relaxed and,
Yeah.
you know, I don't have to be an X on the field. I can be a bit loose here because fly gives me the confidence to do so.
Yeah.
Mate.
I find that we've got the switch as well.
Oh, you do?
So like as a group, we know when to have fun and when to laugh and be jovial, but then we also know, right, step over the white line and we're actually on. But there's no second guessing, there's no hesitating, there's no at times we need to be serious. And we know where that line is and we respect that line, because the moment you disrespect it and you be jovial when you're not meant to or whatever it may be, that's when that line starts changing in the location. And where it is right now is in a really healthy and balanced place. So we come out, we embrace the occasion, we embrace the fans, we embrace everything. We want everyone to be on the journey with us because it's as much them as it is us. Yeah. But we also know like we're there for a reason. We're entertainers, but it's our job to find a way to win and by all means get the result that we're after.
Yeah. We got that result grand final day. And after that first quarter, how tight was that Norm Smith around your neck?
I've said it. It's so funny because
you came out, I was like, this guy's going to have probably 50 here. It's crazy.
See, the thing is, I actually watched back the first quarter and I actually didn't get many touches, but I was in the screen so much.
Screen
I had those almost touches. I was
so
tackling.
much screen time.
Oh my god,
that could be another stat. How much screen time?
Screen time this guy had.
It was the best.
It did feel like the first quarter you were just in everything.
I was either in a marking contest, a spoil. There was times when I probably should have had another 4 tackles, but the ball got called back or something, and I was like, come on, man. Or I've jumped on a pile and I'm like laying on people. I loved it, man. Like it was that grand final was one of the most enjoyable days. And it's funny, like pressure cooker. I feel a few years ago I might have capitulated and crumbled. I wasn't probably where I was mentally around football, but the whole battle and when things get tough now in my football career, I love just stepping in and going like, good, like this is awesome. Like make it harder for us. Like make it harder for me. Like, and times you get challenged, and I'm pretty lucky. I'm not a superstar, so I don't get tagged and things like that. But for us, it's like repeat entries, this and that, and it feels like we just connect and we lean in on each other. And you know, when things hit the fan, it's like, right, I'm going to Q, I'm going to Braz, I'm going to Das, and we've got so many great leaders and motivators. We don't have to look far for inspiration. We get inspired quarter by quarter, minute by minute, moment by moment, just by each other. So many things go unnoticed in so many of our games. Like the prelim, I didn't actually notice it, but I don't know whether you meant it, but Jamie Elliott's kicked sideways out of the stoppage, like really late in the game with 30 seconds to go. Like, who thinks of that? He kicked sideways and Josh was kind of there, but not really. Still had to win a one-on-one. But if we'd kicked it forward, we gained territory, but they had numbers back there. It's a re-entry, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Kicking it sideways and burning 10 seconds, like every second matters. And we reviewed and reflected on it, and we go, wow, that's a moment that no one looks at, but that was so important. And it's quite inspiring knowing that people are doing this all the time in our football club, and we've got 18 guys on the field at the time doing something incredible. We're just getting inspired minute by minute by each other.
Well, you guys are going to do it again. I said to Ollie on the last episode, and you won't say it because you won't get ahead of yourself, but if there's ever a team to go back to back, I think the Pies, they're just in this flow state. And you just said you guys gel so well together, on field, off field, you love each other. So as much as I do hate Collingwood, and it hurts me when you win a flag, it's good to see you're doing well because you've got good humans like yourself in there, and you're doing some great things by being you, which is good, mate. So thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate your time, mate. And if you want to go to the strippers with Ollie now, I can drop you guys off.
I'm a soon-to-be father. I'm not sure if that's where I want to be. But
true. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Well, we are now racking up a lot of episodes here on DDF.
Yep.
So I thought, what a better opportunity than to give you 5 players of mine who I think will average at least 25 possessions this year. This segment is brought to you by Sportsbet. And again, guys, I said it today. I was on site doing something very exciting. There is some big things coming out. So please, just keep your eyes peeled for that. I don't want to say too much, but my list of 5 players that you can pencil in, put your pencil on it and say, you know what? Pencil is placed, 25 possessions, week in, week out. Number 1, Errol Goulden. The bloke brings his own footy to each game, just has it on a string. Up at Sydney, SCG small ground, wing, up and down all day. Just gonna have, I reckon he averages around 28, 29. No, that's a lie. I reckon he averages near 30. I've got him for near 30 this year. Sam Doherty hasn't had an opponent since he was at Brisbane. Really. Plays, trust me, I'm mates with him. He doesn't play on anyone. And I watch him closely. That bloke wouldn't know who he's playing on week in, week out. So he just runs around looking for the footy. Nick Dacos, my third one, just isn't from this world. Just like a Victor Wembanyama. They probably came from the same planet. Victor, very big and tall and lanky. I think Nick was his brother on that weird planet. And they've come to Earth and he's like, see ball, destroy ball, seek and destroy, a bit like me. My fourth one, pencil in for 25 touches a week. Tim Kelly. West Coast don't have any other players that touch the ball. You could give me a West Coast player in the street. They could run into me, smack me in the head, and I wouldn't even know who they are, let alone touch the footy. So Tim Kelly, he will carry the load in that midfield. And the last one, Marcus Bontempelli. I reckon he just walks into the change room some days and says, boys, let me lay down and see how many of you can jump on my back, because I'm just going to take you across the line here. And very good looking. So they're my 5 players that, guys, you can pencil them in for 25 possessions week in, week out.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.